They surf really well on the outside section and then not able to complete it or have a fall, and it's been costing them.
All right, well, here we go. It's going to be Jeremy Flores kicking things off on the first wave of the day. The third round getting back underway here. This is heat number 5. Flores up against Wade Carmichael, and the Frenchman digging into that first turn. You can see those ribs still on that open face, so making that read a little more difficult than we had yesterday afternoon.
Jeremy Flores, this wave is a little more challenging to ride, it looks like, because a bit more chop on the face, so he had to race that first section. Finally gets a little slower period. Beautiful turn. But it looked like that was kind of the only major turn we saw on this wave, realizing down the line that it's going to run, so he decides to kick out.
These smooth faces. Wade Carmichael also going to get his campaign started here in the third round. Flowing nicely throughout his first couple of heats. Gets the finish there on the inside.
Look at these first few waves here. Wade first. That was probably the third wave of the set, so there is going to be some whitewater that kind of comes in just at the end, though. But that's the flow that he has. That is his strength, especially on the forehand. You know, we've seen him make the final as a rookie in Brazil, so you know he's capable. I have to say that this is a place that he would be one to watch.
And maybe one that he really has to rely on for a big finish, because it's only going to get more difficult. As we see Jeremy up on his second wave. Scores coming through from the opening exchange. And Wade Carmichael's going to get the better of Jeremy, so he's trying to answer back now. Clean flow, surfing with a lot of speed this year, Flores. And even though he is really counting just the one quarterfinal result as his best finish.
Had a very high average heat score. And for the results, didn't come with it. He just had these close heats where his competitor just scored a little bit higher. And that could be a bit of a challenge mentally, but he seemed to take the positives out of it. As you see this wave here, it's going to be a much better score. Getting the maneuvers done, picking those spots that are a little cleaner on the face through the ribs. So this will probably rival the score of Wade Carmichael's first. So right now it feels like even Steven.
Once he gets going, can let go of a really solid sequence of maneuvers. Here goes Jeremy on wave number 3. Second ride was a 5.17, so trying to get rid of his first now, which was a 3.33 to extend his lead. Flowing nicely at the moment. Nice hook, reading the wave well, despite the bumps on the face. And Flores is on his way to a solid number here if he can finish this one off. Nice float, has speed to lay into these last couple of sections. Very busy on that ride, and it was seamless. That's one thing that kind of suggests good form to me, Pete, when the conditions are tricky and can still keep that seamless flow down the line and not trip up on those bumps. Let's have another look at it here. Flores loading up.
Down the line again, carrying that speed on that outside section, and once you start to get into that string of maneuvers, it's got to be top to bottom. And this is what happens. Slows up nicely, and he was able to pick this canvas, the smooth wall, to be able to do those directional changes. The floats are transition moves, but he keeps that speed up. You know, the snap in the lip, and then the directional change where he gets that board back into the pit to finish off. I like this wave. You know, putting the time in on the QS series, so he's traveling around, put some money in the bank with prize money. Let's take a look at it again here. Again, so he's riding a little more volume, although this board is designed off of his normal short boards. And that's what's kind of nice, is you can just grow your surfboards by adding volume, but have it really act very similar to your boards that you would ride on just your normal beach break waves. So he understands it. He's comfortable with it. He knows what it's going to do. He knows where he's going to get the drive. It's so nice when you can work with a shaper that puts in that time and energy and understanding, you know, the style of surfing that you carry, and then have that translate into the design of your surfboard.
Adjustment from Wade Carmichael from the first round. It just felt like he threw his first round heat away. He was well positioned to take the win, but just lost focus on wave selection, and it cost him big time in the end. Flores really solid in the opening round, a heat score total of 15 points plus to earn his place here in round 3. He's up again, chasing a big score here. And he just knows there's not enough height in that wave, not enough critical sections in order to turn in the excellent score required.
This wave didn't have quite that same intensity, so Jeremy didn't have the push that we saw coming off of Wade's board. So instantaneously, he knows that this wave's not going to cut it. You know, even though it had the ability to be able to string a bunch of maneuvers here, and you know, just even that bottom turn, he got a little bit of the stumble, and so he ends up kicking out. But I think before all that, he already knew in the back of his mind that this score wasn't going to be enough, and so might as well wait for a set. And there is opportunity there, but it's going to be from that westerly direction. So I think Kieran has to pay attention and get some heats done.
The Australian Wade Carmichael in his rookie season has been surfing very well. He's already got an 8.17. He's trying to replace a 6.67 with something more solid to extend his lead over Jeremy Flores here. A couple of big turns on the inside.
Oh, man.
A bit more wrist now, so feeling comfortable out in front. Throwing a bit more at it. Looking like Jesus. And, well, walking through the sea like Moses, parting the ocean with some big cleaving turns there. Wade Carmichael's on his way to another solid score here.
And this is the type of thing you need to do against a guy like Jeremy Flores. You start adding points and putting numbers up. I mean, that was Jeremy going on that wave earlier and then having to give this wave right here to Wade Carmichael, and Wade made him pay. You know, a little bit anxious. I love that float because he carried so much time on the lip, and this turn here was, again, vicious. That's the style of surfing. That's innovation and progression in a way, because he's going so hard with all that speed. Judges have to reward that. Of course, completing the ride at the very end, making sure, but watch this turn again. All that speed, and look where he chose to do that maneuver. The most critical section right there in the lip, drifting the fins. All of that maneuver done very high up in the critical section. That's that vertical part of the wave. It's going to be another nice number.
Yeah, blue-collar champion from the central coast of New South Wales. So many talented surfers coming from that region. And it was only a matter of time before Wade Carmichael burst onto the scene. His last ride, an 8.2. So Flores needs a near-perfect 9.9 to steal the lead. I'm sure with just under 12 minutes to go, he'd be happy to chip away at that requirement. He's on his way to a solid score here. Needs to really dig into some major turns on this inside section now. The veteran, 30 years of age, hammers the end section, but unfortunately could not complete the move.
The wave touching you, it just slows you down so quickly. It was an interesting choice in waves here, but I think that sometimes when you take that first wave, you realize the pace of that wave is going to be a little bit better, even though it's smaller. Beautiful float there, keeping that speed together. You know, that knifey snap, he's able to really slice in with that little smaller surfboard, a little narrower surfboard. And then right here, this was the turn. I mean, he was above the lip, got the board, threw it.
Let's have another look at it.
And look, you know, when things are going your way, as he is in the barrel. Oh, he had it, looked like.
Have a look at the swell lines coming our way here in the first heat of the morning. Wade Carmichael well out in front. Trying to put Jeremy Flores in combo now. Wants to get rid of an 8.17. Strong first turn. Off the bottom, straight into another hook. Driving up into the lip now. Clean transition to generate some speed for this bowl. And this is a man on fire. Hammers the tail. Rolls through a carve, just mixing it up with the finish. And he is having a lot of fun out here now.
He is having a ball on the dance floor, all by himself. Saturday Night Fever. Woohoo! He puts the highest wave of the heat up on the board. He's much closer to catching Wade, but although it feels like this wave's going to be probably even a little bit better than what he already has in his scoreline. I mean, this was gouging. There was a lot more, not just the one single good maneuver. This had several very powerful snaps, and look at the choice of wave. That one's so smooth, just big enough to be outside of the whitewater line. And, you know, the Velvet pulled a little bit clean as that set kind of progressed. That wave smooths out the bumps, and he chose the perfect one in this. I mean, look at him just gouging away. A lot of variety in the carves, different angles. You know, his snap out of the lip, too, with a ton of speed out of it. It's easy to go do a snap like that and lose all your speed, but not Wade. I mean, he just laid into this top to bottom each and every time. Great combination of major maneuvers, great speed and flow. Look at this again, just layback snap right there in the top of the lip. Board looks just glued to his feet.
Himself on real quality waves, loving the consistency on offer. And Flores still has time to get himself back in this heat. Slices off the top, love that smooth bottom turn into the barrel, locked in deep, and you saw him go down there. So he's going to have to keep working at it.
I love that brand. It's old school. That's been around forever.
Well, also, you know, their commitment to Wade and their belief in his ability is being paid back right here.
Sure
this
is.
is a huge effort, and he's looking good for a spot in the fourth round with just 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. And another great from the central coast of New South Wales announcing his arrival here. Wade Carmichael well out in front. Flores out of reach, you'd think, chasing a two-wave total of 16.77. But this guy, he knows how to work a crowd over, and he's going to hammer this wave down the line on his way in. Little Ollie there. Just having a bit of fun with it. But Jeremy, he'd been enjoying his time in South Africa despite the fact he's going to be knocked out in the third round here, travelling with his young family, new baby girl. So a big congrats to Flores once again. Just a big, I think, pat on the back for the kind of form he's carrying at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, I think that still right up there.
Great start to the day for Wade Carmichael.